My brothers and sisters, you are now watching The Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need. And I hope you enjoy the video.
Hey, you made it. Welcome to where you're going. But anyways, so I know normally I do my recaps the day, the day after of The Walking Dead, but I just couldn't do it. Our brother was too busy out here in these next generation streets. So I was like, God dang, I gotta get to it. Fast forward to Sunday. I'm doing it now, so I'm trying to get this out before the new episode come out. And then, bam, got you. So, this will be my recap of episode 2 of season 7 of AMC's The Walking Dead. Now, this episode was a little bit lighter compared to compared to the premiere. Speaking again on the premiere real quick, because I've been seeing a lot of people say I've been hearing people complaining that they thought that episode was too brutal and, too much violence was in this episode. Mind you, we've been watching suckers get shot in the head and seeing blood and guts and freaking gore since like season 1, but that's one different thing. But I get it, that Glenn thing was hard to watch. Like, that was hands down probably not even one of the hardest episode ever of the TV series of The Walking Dead to watch. Like, and again, like I said in my first recap, for that episode, even though the Abraham and Glenn death got me, that wasn't really what made that wasn't the hardest thing for me to watch. The hardest thing for me to watch in that episode was that scene to where it was Negan, Rick, and Carl, and Negan was about to force Rick to cut off Carl's freaking arm. Like, that was hard because you was literally I don't think people understand. Like, Rick is a savage. Like, Rick in his own right is a savage. This is a guy that we have seen literally transform into a savage. He really got into savage form. I think it all started where I was like, damn, Rick is a savage. I think it all began. I think it was the episode to where Carl was about to get raped and Rick bit that dude's throat out. Ever since then, Rick has been a complete savage, and we have seen him, how he handles these different situations that come to him. And Rick, he did get a little cocky last season, and just to see how he was like the previous seasons, and to see him in that scene to where Negan literally broke Rick. Like, Rick was broken, like broken Rick. like broken Matt Hardy, no, broken Rick. Like, Rick Grimes was broken, and it was so hard for me to watch that because I was like, who is this guy? Like, Rick is but yeah, that premiere of season 7 of The Walking Dead, freaking fantastic, dude. I loved it, every part of it. I still don't think Glenn's dead. He's somewhere underneath the dumpster hiding right now, waiting for Rick. But just to recap on that one quick again. Get into the second episode. So the second episode, again, this had a way lighter tone compared to the premiere. This one was with Carol, the Black Bruce Lee Morgan, and we got to see King Ezekiel and his tiger Shiva. So we are at the kingdom. So this episode starts off, Carol is still with Morgan, and after her getting shot, last season in the last episode, by one of the saviors, she is getting carted alongside, Morgan and some of, the people from the kingdom. Now, all of these dudes got horses and freaking staffs. I'm like, they actually can handle themselves. Like, you see, walkers come out, and, Carol's, starting to trip out, seeing, the walkers like when they were people and stuff like that. I'm like, bruh, somebody need to help Carol, because ever since like she like slammed that door shut and like burnt all the satyrs alive, like ever since then, like these deaths are really starting to take a toll on Carol. She is like seeing people, you know, before they were walkers now. So I'm like, somebody need to help Carol, because she, like, all this death is really starting to get, you know, to her, you know. So along the way, some walkers come out. The kingdom again, they actually can handle themselves. Like, these suckers are on horses, like this is freaking Red Dead Redemption, and they like slicing suckers out here, you know. So that goes down. Eventually, like, Carol, I guess, collapses, and then she wakes up 2 days later, and Morgan is just at the bed just looking at her. You know, so she's been knocked out. I guess she, you know, between her getting shot and just being on, you know, just being on the road. And what's funny is Carol, she don't even know what's going on back home. Well, first off, Rick and them ain't there. Carol still has no clue that Rick is broken. He's pretty much answering to Negan. Abraham's dead. Glenn's dead. Daryl is a prisoner. She has no idea what's going on. So I really want to see, like, once she gets back home, she's going to be like, what the freak? Like, what the freak went down, you know? But they're at the kingdom, you know, and, like, Carol is like, just talking to Morgan about this stuff. And the kingdom, they got a pretty good setup. Like, they kind of got the setup of like the prison when season 4 started, and how they had like crops and pigs and schools going. I'm like, hey, this joke is like heaven right now, you know. So the kingdom, they got a pretty good setup, but low key, the king here, King Ezekiel, not all things are good at the kingdom as it may seem. As you know, all of these, you know, places are. You always have to question, like, okay, what's the real deal of this place, you know? But on, you know, from the outside looking in, it's like these people have it way better right now than Rick and him, you know. So you know, they got all that going on. Morgan has Carol in a wheelchair, and he is taking Carol to see King Ezekiel. So they literally like go into this, like, I don't freaking know, like a freaking auditorium or something, you know, and freaking King Ezekiel is just sitting there with freaking Shiva, and like you could just see Carol like, what the freak? Because like it's so funny. You're in an apocalypse. You're freaking seeing dead people get back up and come try to eat you, but yet the most shocking thing that you can see now is a freaking tiger in front of your face. So Carol's like, you could just see, like, is that a freaking tiger that I'm looking at right now? But Shiva looks great, and King Ezekiel, I actually like him. Now again, I do know, you know, a lot of the things that have went down in the comics, but I never have gotten too deep into the comics, so I wasn't really familiar with King Ezekiel and Shiva, but I did know about them. But you know, so you get to see King Ezekiel, and he's pretty much treated like freaking royalty here, because you freaking see a black guy in a apocalypse, and he has a freaking full-grown tiger next to him just bowing down to him. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna follow that guy. You know, so Ezekiel, he is in charge of this place, and he's like, Carol, my name is King Ezekiel, welcome to the kingdom. And you could just see Carol, she immediately puts on that innocent old woman, I don't know what I'm doing here. I have no idea what's going on, in the most glorious way, you know. And I'm just like, here we go again. Carol is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and she can pull that off, because people are not going to expect like an old freaking lady like Carol is a freaking G. As soon as Morgan and Carol get away from Ezekiel, Carol's like, you're kidding. She immediately thinks that King Ezekiel is a joke, his tiger is a joke, His place is a joke. These people are a joke. She wants to leave already. She's like, we have to go. Carol just does it. She just like, if she just sees any like weakness in anybody, she doesn't even want to deal with it. So she already wants to leave. Morgan is like trying to, just get her to stay because she's really in no shape to leave, so that goes down. So Morgan goes out on a run with King Ezekiel and some of his men from the kingdom. You see them trying to like capture pigs, but at the same time they're feeding the pigs walkers. So I'm like, like, are y'all gonna take these pigs back home and cook them for you yourselves, or like, why are you feeding like walkers to the pigs? Or I mean, if that's the case, we gonna have like another prison part to where if you guys remember when that sickness was going on in the in the prison, and suckers started to turn into walkers in their sleep. I was like, is this gonna happen again? But then you see what's really going on behind the scenes. Again, Negan, apparently this dude has a lot of men. We still don't know exactly how many saviors there are out there, but we've seen like different groups of them out there. And apparently the kingdom is yet another spot to where they answer to Negan too. So it's like even them, they don't completely got it made. So they're actually so they have a deal with the saviors to where if they to where if they give them some of their stuff, then the saviors leave them alone and they don't have to get Lucille'd by get Lucille'd by Negan. So what they're doing is they're actually feeding the walkers pigs because they're trying to kill some of the saviors. So I was like, oh snap, that's what's going on. So some of the saviors show up, and you see that they don't really, I mean, some groups look worse than others, but this group actually seems like they have somewhat respect for Ezekiel. I'm not sure if because the man has a freaking tiger again. Like you just don't see black people just walking. You just don't see black people walking around in the apocalypse with a full-grown tiger just like near them. So they're like, yeah, maybe let's just leave him alone a little bit. So but but you get the sense that they actually have some respect for him and they actually kind of treat him nice. But again, some of these groups, they always have at least one bad egg in these groups, so one of the guys, picks up a fight, with one of Ezekiel's men. This dude looks like the second, like he looks like the Governor 2.0. Like he looks like a younger version of the Governor. I'm like, like, is that David Morse? But it's not. But yeah. So they have like they have a little tussle there. Freaking Ezekiel, he's like, guys, cease this. This is not what we do. Just the way he talks, like he is a guy that does have some control, it seems like, because once he says that they'll stop fighting. But once that happens, what else goes down? Because I watched this jump like on Monday and today's Sunday, so I'm trying to remember all the stuff that went on. So they return to the kingdom. Now, while on this run, Ezekiel got to see Morgan in action. Again, Morgan, we all know he's like, all life is precious now. But Morgan, let's not get it twisted. And Morgan, he is starting to kind of use guns now. Now, again, he still does. He still actually doesn't like to shoot the gun, but it's the fact that he is now holding a gun, in his hand. So I know with, the reintroduction of Morgan, a lot of people are just done with him, and just what they did to his character. A lot of people don't really like him no more like that. Like my sister, is just done with this guy. But Morgan, let's not get it twisted. Morgan, you don't see dudes like freaking using ninja type martial arts in the apocalypse like that. Like, let's not get it twisted. Morgan is a bad dude, you know. So once Ezekiel sees him in action, he asks him, to train one of his people. I think his name is Benjamin, I think. And then at first Morgan is like, no, I'm good. I ain't training nobody. But then Ezekiel eventually gets him to do it, you know. So then Morgan and Benjamin, start to build this relationship, and they start to talk a little bit. Suckers got a choir at Kingdom. They got a choir at the Kingdom. So then it like goes to it goes to them like singing this. There's a freaking guy. And I'm like, but these suckers got it made. Now again, they still are giving some of their resources to the saviors, but it just really still seems like they have they have a nice structure here. Like things are good here. Like people are safe here. And stuff like that. So they got a choir, pigs, crops, stuff like that. Freaking Shiva's there with them, if things get a little bad, later on in the episode, Morgan goes back to the room to where Carol was supposed to be laying down. She gone, fam. She's gone, bro. Carol is literally going around stealing freaking clothes, candy. Like, bro, Carol is free. And again, no one expects this from an old lady. So she is literally like in a wheelchair, like just like stealing clothes and being like she is completely putting on this act and like just saying, I can't believe how beautiful this place is. What's that there? Takes clothes. So Carol is just trying to get some new stuff so she can be on her way, fam. She is not trying to stay here, because she just doesn't really like trust what's going on. And it really seems like this place is a circus to Carol, because you freaking see King Ezekiel. This man is like speaking like he's in royalty. He has a freaking tiger. And people are just so happy. Just so Carol, she ain't trying to have no parts of that. She like, sucker, we gone. So towards the ending of this was actually my favorite part of this of this episode. Carol and Ezekiel have a talk, because she gets caught trying to leave at night, and Ezekiel sees her, and like he's trying to ask her like, why are you such in a rush to leave? Like, why do you want to leave? And then Carol pretty much tells this man straight up, I mean, you're a joke, your tigers are a joke, this place is a joke, and I don't want to be here. And then Ezekiel's like, have a seat, Carol. Just the way he talks, so, but then Ezekiel, Ezekiel caught on to her act, and no one else really seemed like they even know what's going on, when she puts on that act, because I think, what did he say? He was like, oh, Carol, you can never, I don't like cursing, but he said, you can never bullshit a bullshit. So he knows that Carol is not what she says she is, and it's not what it seems with Carol. He knows that Carol is putting on this act, and he knows that Carol has more going on, beneath the sleeves, that she's putting on this disguise, and then once Carol knows that he knows, then like she like starts to really like talk to him, and then Ezekiel like tells tells her about his whole story and how he came to be King Ezekiel, and and how he got this tiger and stuff like that, and how he is just doing this because he thinks that people need to be followed, and not necessarily because he wants to do it. This is just position that he was giving in this in this apocalypse, so he really starts to break down his whole story, and how like he took care of Shiva like when she was like a younger tiger and stuff like that, and then when the apocalypse hit, and how he got here, he's just telling and giving her his whole story, and and then Carol, starts to, kind of let her guard down a little and start to talk to him and be like, so I see, but they really start to build this bond. I'm like, are we gonna see a Ezekiel and Carol matchup soon? You can really get the sense, like, after Ezekiel like gave Carol, his whole story, that Carol like kind of they just really bonded well after that talk, but Ezekiel is still trying to get Carol to stay. Carol seems like she has made up her mind and she doesn't really want to stay because she wants to go back home to Alexandria again. She don't even know what's going on out there, fam. A lot of stuff has happened since Carol has left. Let's just say that. So when she does get back there, it's gonna be like, maybe I should have stayed back at the kingdom, But so Carol leaves, but I really did really enjoy, because I've seen a lot of people say that this episode, was slow and boring, and I'm just like, what do y'all suckers want? Like I'm like, it just seems like some viewers that watch The Walking Dead, they literally want somebody to get Lucille'd each episode. And I'm just like, suck it. If that's what you want, you are watching the wrong show. We all know that a lot of times The Walking Dead does have these slower episodes that's more so about character development, and introducing us to different groups. I thought the way that they introduced King Ezekiel and Shiva and the kingdom was great. So you have like these like different stories going on, and yeah, we didn't see none of Rick, in this show, but I thought that was a good introduction, to a different group out there and like a different story, So next episode they're going to get to actually the place of the saviors and get to Daryl. So Carol still leaves the kingdom. She has made up her mind, she's trying to go back home, and Morgan also went with her, but he's not staying there. After he drops her off, he's going right back to the kingdom because Morgan is not trying to be out there, So once Carol gets to the house to where she saw a walker, but because she was tripping at the time, she's seen the old lady version of that walker before she died. She like chooses that house, to stay in for a while, and then like Morgan like takes off, and like Morgan and Carol have this relationship now to where Carol has literally tried to run away from Morgan like 5 or 6 times, and like Morgan, he never gets annoyed. Like Carol has been a little annoying, and like Morgan, he's just so freaking peaceful and like, our life is precious, so he has like risked his life trying to save Carol, and he did that. So you get the feeling that Carol does like Morgan, some more, because again, like Carol is one of the OG members, of this group. They both were in the first season, but Carol and Morgan never really got a chance to really know each other like that. So this is like really like the first time where Carol and him like are really, starting to form this bond. So that's good to see. But so she's inside of that house. There's a knock on the door. If you freaking get a knock on the door these days in The Walking Dead, you have to answer with the freaking gun drawn, but it's King Ezekiel and Shiva. This man somehow knows where Carol went, and he's like, you should really try one of these nectarines, but that was the end of that episode. I personally thought this was a good episode. It might not have been action-packed and on the edge of your seat and freaking eyes glued like the premiere, but again, if people are expecting that every episode, then you are watching The Walking Dead for the wrong reasons. A lot of The Walking Dead, sometimes there are slower episodes that are more so about character development and just like adding different, arcs to the storyline. I really thought that's what, this episode in particular was for, and introducing a new group, the Kingdom, King Ezekiel, Shiva, and stuff like that. But I personally still enjoyed this episode. And now again, next episode today, later tonight, is going to be with the Saviors, and we're gonna see Dwight and Daryl, and I definitely want to see the shape that Daryl is in. Again, I think what happened to Glenn, you can make the case that Glennon might still be here if there was no Daryl trying to punch Negan. So I want to see, you know, the state of mind that Daryl is in, if he really does feel guilty, you know, with the death of Glenn. I want to see all that. I want to see Dwight. I want to see Negan. I want to see where this place is, where all the saviors go, like go to. I want to see everything. So you have like 3 different stories going on. You have Rick and his group, you have Ezekiel and the kingdom, and now you got Dwight, Daryl, Negan, and like he's at the Savior's place because he's now a prisoner there. So I'm definitely excited for this episode tonight. But yeah, man, so that was my recap of episode 2 of season 7 of Telltales. I said Telltales. Speaking of that, when is season 3? When is this junk supposed to drop? I thought this junk was going to drop in October. Telltales The Walking Dead season 3. I want more Clementine. But no, this is my recap of season 7 episode 2 of AMC's The Walking Dead. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Look forward to episode 3. You know, I'll try to get that one out sooner. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I greatly appreciate it if you rate the video, my brothers and sisters. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up. It could be a thumbs down. But what I do ask every brother and every sweet, sweet sister, yes I do. Every time. What I do ask every brother and every sweet, sweet sister is to just rate the video, my brothers and sisters. So saying that, I hope Daryl don't get Lucille, bro. I hope this man don't die. Yeah, I don't know anymore, bro. It could be Daryl.